What is up, YouTube? It is time now for that extravagant pickup video I mentioned to you guys for like the past 2 weeks.
Well, we're waiting.
So I have about one big score a year, guys, and this one started off. 2022 was not very lucky for me. I was just getting small ones here and there, and then last week of the month, really, I got $200 from Christmas from random relatives and everything, just kind of put together.
Whoopee.
I put that money aside, and I do every few months I usually make a post in a local Facebook group saying, you know, looking for retro games and stuff like that, but I've been smarter about what kind of pictures I use to kind of catch them in, and I got a hit, and let's just say, guys, this was a big hit. So the person sent me some pictures of what they had. You know, originally I was kind of iffy about it because a lot of times around here it's either hit or miss. You're either going to pay barely nothing or people are going to want too much money. Like I had a person with a Super Mario 3, a couple of Nintendo controllers and stuff like that, and wanted $50 for it all, and I said no freaking way. But anyways, I just got to get this going because this might be a long video. So just stay with me, guys. I'm really pumped about this. So basically, they had a huge lot of Nintendo 64 stuff that I was going for first, and then she started showing me pictures of everything else they had. And you know, in my head, I'm just starting to see dollar signs. This is going to cost me a lot of freaking money, I was thinking. And after it was all said and done, I go, well, what would you want for it? And of course, they retaliated back with, well, what's your offer? So I just threw a number out there. Now, easily the Nintendo 64 stuff was worth probably $200 to $300. And easily. And I was like, well, I'll give you $100 for the Nintendo 64 stuff. Or, so they started showing me pictures of a bunch of consoles and stuff, but this stuff was covered in dust. This stuff was, you could already smell the basement from it. You can just smell that, you know, dusty, musty smell. I said, I'll give you $200 for everything. Now we'll start going through this all, and you guys can tell me if it was worth $200 or not. So they accepted the offer. They even drove it over and dropped it off for me because I just got off work. And yeah, so just a heads up, an FYI, this is a lot of the stuff it is, but I've already sold some stuff to try and recuperate my losses and keep up with some of the stuff that I want to, you know, go for my collection. So there'll probably be a random picture here or there that kind of shows you some of the stuff that I've sold within the last few days, but I can kind of, as I'm going through here, tell you guys some stuff too. There's a couple Pokemon games and stuff that I've already had that I sold off and easily recuperated a lot of my losses. So after all is said and done, everything I have now is what I've had for free, so it's really cool. We'll go ahead and we'll start off some of the heavy hitters that... Well, first we'll show you what the N64 lot was, so that way you guys can kind of get an idea. Now, once again, I've already sold some of these, so I'll tell you. I've already sold a Duke Nukem 0 Hour, Duke Nukem 64, and that was really about it out of the N64 games. I know, I'm trying to find, I'm sorry that this is really unorganized because I have a ton of boxes everywhere. Alright, here we go. This is the cell box, kind of. So we'll start off with the games I'm keeping for my collection out of this. This is the ones that I really wanted from the start. So we'll just start it off with huge. Right there was worth about half of what I paid for everything. Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is currently going on price trading for like $100. So there was the first game that really caught my eye. Now one of the second games that really caught my eye was the holographic Majora's Mask. Same kind of with Conker's Bad Fur Day. This is going for around 70, 80, 90 bucks a pop. And I do not have a copy of Majora's Mask yet, so this is one of the other games that really got my lot. Got my eye. And then we have the special edition copy of Ocarina of Time. Now, I have the gray cart, but this is just another added special one to have. I'm going to talk about in recent videos coming up too that I am actually going for. I'm redoing some of my collection and actually going for quality over quantity with games I grew up with. So I had the gray cart growing up, but now I have this one, and that one's going to be put away too. Next we have, well, we have a copy of Super Mario 64. Now, a lot of when I opened some of these up, and I've seen this a lot and how cheap she went with this, I was starting to wonder if these were all repros. But I have opened these up, looked at the boards, and compared them with actual games, and these were legit. They're the actual games. So that was really cool to get. And then we have a copy of Star Fox 64. And then Mario Golf. Mario Tennis. Mario Party 2. Diddy Kong Racing. Yoshi's Story. And Super Smash Brothers. Oh yeah. So after I pulled all those are the ones that caught my eye out of the main things. And then this plus an N64 and these games over here, plus the Duke Nukems, is what I was going to offer $100 alone for. And as you can tell, one of those games alone was worth that value. Now, do you sometimes feel guilty about this? Well, it is what it is, man. I asked them what they wanted, and I told them what I wanted to play, and they took it. So they had this stuff stored away. I wanted it. They got $200, and I got a bunch of games for my collection. So now these are going to be a couple more N64 games in here. Are the ones that are in my trade/sell pile, because these are ones I've already had that were doubles that came with it. So, okay, that's the rest of it. So we'll just slide through here pretty quick. We have a copy of Pod Racer, Rogue Squadron, Shadows of the Empire. This one I actually honestly don't know. It's kind of a surprise to me because they got it covered in stickers. I think at one point the sticker must have came off, because if you rip this one off, there is nothing underneath there. So I'm wondering if somebody ripped the label off of this one and then just put these stickers on for fun. So this is a surprise game. I actually do not know what game this is. So we will have to open that up and maybe, yeah, we're going to have to fire that thing up and see what that game is. And then, this one I might hold on to because I don't think I have these, but it's every Turok game. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now this one's actually kind of rare. I think this one was $30 to $40. And then we have Rage Wars. So going through that is all the N64 games alone that was in this. I might have to break this movie up in a couple parts. So going through that, yeah, like I said, I mean, and like this was the kind of what was worrying me, is you see like that is a clean label, and I was really thinking that these were going to be just repros. Really nervous about that. So going on now, we will jump to, well, let's see here, whatever I got left from the Super Nintendo. So first off, we'll leave consoles for last. How about we do consoles for last? We'll do games. I really don't have too many of the Super Nintendo games left. I've sold quite a few, and I've also bundled a few with some systems that I may be selling here pretty soon. But here's what I have left. We have a copy of Lagoon, Terminator 2, Jurassic Park, King of the Monsters 2, and another copy of Spawn. I just gave one of these away not too long ago on Halloween. We also had a copy of Donkey Kong Country 2. And then I think NBA Live. And some Suzuki racing game with crotch rockets. So that was all said and done. That was the Super Nintendo games. So there really wasn't as much in there of any value. It's just not... like I said, not too disappointing. The N64 stuff was what I was really looking forward to. Let's see here. Next we will move on to some of the Game Boy stuff. So out of the Game Boy stuff I have sold, like I said, there was 2 copies. Oh, here's one of them right now. Pokemon Yellow. Now I do not have a copy of Pokemon Yellow, and that was one of my favorite games growing up as a kid. So I held on to this one, but there was 2 copies of it. Both of them worked just fine. So I went ahead and sold the other copy. And we have a copy of Pokemon Blue. Now, I could not get this one to work. I opened it up, I cleaned the pins and everything, and it still would not work right. So this is going to be a project down the road to hopefully figure out what's wrong with this. Otherwise I might give it to or sell it cheap to somebody that can fix it and get it going. We have another mystery cart. This one I am unknown with. I think it was, I want to say Pokemon trading card game or something, because when I opened it up, it was Game Freak. So I'm not 100% sure on this. It could be Pokemon Crystal or something for all I know. We have a Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. We have a copy of Gex, Enter the Gex. This one was a nice surprise. I remember growing up with this game. We have a copy of Gargoyles, which is a great game on the Game Boy. And this is one of two. There was also a black Game Shark for the Game Boy Color. I sold that one as one of the games to recuperate some of my losses. And then before that, so we also had another copy of Pokemon Silver. Now the story behind that one is there was 2 Game Boy Colors, 1 Game Boy Advance, and 1 Game Boy SP in this lot. Now, one of my coworkers, Storm, was interested in the Game Boy SP, and I unfortunately did not have the stuff to get it going. So Storm just wanted to buy it as is. So as he bought it, oh, it did have a Link's Awakening was in there too. So I sold him the Game Boy SP and Link's Awakening, and the Game Boy Colors and Game Boy Advances are actually getting sent to my buddy Danny Fix. And what he's going to do is mod one of the Game Boy Colors for me by putting a nice sweet Pokemon shell onto it and then backlight modding it. So that was what was going on with those. That's why I do not have them right now. So when that shows up, I will have to show you guys that. It'll be really freaking cool. Oh, I missed these. These are the Super Nintendo games. There's games everywhere, guys. But those are going to be put into a lot. Alright. Now we're going to switch over to the Game Boy games. Unfortunately, as you could probably see here or something during this video, I will show I got rid of a lot of the Game Boy games. Now they were very common ones. NFL Blitz. There's a copy of, let's see here. So I'm selling one of these Game Boys, and the person that's buying them is getting a copy of Resident Evil 4 and Crash Wrath of Cortex. So these 2 games are going to them. But I sold a lot of them to be traded in for a video you guys can watch on the channel too, how I obtained Final Fantasy II boxed. I got rid of a big stack of GameCube games that I did not want to have. Well, I didn't need them right now, and I wanted something good, or more, once again, something for my collection, so I was able to get rid of those ones. Like I said, NHL Blitz, or NFL Blitz, Lord of the Rings, like Return of the King, you know, games like that. And like I said, they'll probably be popping up here at some point. But now this was the 2 games that I'm keeping out of all of them. Was I did not have a copy of Resident Evil 1 yet on the GameCube. It was, I think I have it. Oh, I only have disc 2 in here right now. I must have disc 1 in one of the Game Boys. But yeah, I was going ahead and keep this copy of this. Now, this is probably the biggest hitter and surprise out of this. I opened this up, and I did not recognize the game at first. And I thought it was just one of those common titles that was not going to be worth, you know, nothing. It was just one of those strange, weird titles. But then I turned, you know, yeah. So this is Rivet King. PS2, it's worth 20, 30 bucks. GameCube, complete, it's worth about $200. Now, this game was not shown in the lot. She just showed me the consoles, the N64 games, and that was really about it. So, as I was digging through the totes, and this popped up, and after I looked this up, I could not believe it, guys. This was a huge find. And I was originally going to sell this to try and get some stuff I want, but as of right now, I'm going to hold on to it. But this, I couldn't believe this, guys. You're going to hear that a lot with this. You know, I couldn't believe this. As for, let's see now, I think I'm through most of the games. Oh, I saw this. I'm like, oh, they left a DVD in here. And then when I opened it, there's a copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee going for about 60, 70 bucks. Just stashed away in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles case. And also there was I got excited because I think it was F-Zero GT or whatever. Unfortunately, it was just a case, and I was able to sell that to a buddy who needed just a case. He just had a loose copy. So I ended up selling that off to him and got a couple bucks out of that. Regular Nintendo games, really not much. Pro-Am, California Games, and of course a copy of Mario and Duck Hunt. So, like I said, not too much. Let's see here. What's we dig into next? Oh, this was cool. So this is what the Super Nintendo games were stashed in. We have an original Nintendo storage case. So this is actually one of the coolest things out of the lot that I thought of. Besides, you know, obviously Ribbit King and stuff like that. But it's perfect for storing your Super Nintendo games in there. It fits in there just perfect. It even has little nails on the side up here so you can hang it up. So you could just put it up and put your Super Nintendo games in like that. So that was really cool to find too. We have I have it getting sanitized and smelling better right now, but I did pull out a Wavebird. And these aren't cheap right now either. It is missing the back piece, so hopefully I can pick that up. And I was a little nervous at first that, you know, I was like, well, they were Wavebirds aren't worth much unless you have the receiver. And after digging through the totes, I did finally find the receiver at the very bottom. So that was very exciting to find. I have the chrome one, and now I have the plain Jane one, which is really cool. All right, guys. So what do you say? Should we start going through some of the consoles now? Or should we start digging through controllers? Alright, let's just go through the consoles. So, first off, I will show you one of them. And I mean one of them. We have a, let's see, a regular Platinum Chrome, or whatever you want to call this, GameCube. Mind you, all these systems work, guys. I'm telling you right now, all of them work. This is the cool part. We have the Platinum GameCube right here. Now these are when they start getting gross. I already took a magic eraser to this one a little bit, but you can see it's just really dirty and musty. The smells are finally starting to go away, and I could probably get this one looking pretty good. But we have one Super Nintendo. Yeah, it took me like 2 or 3 trips to get in the house. We have a dusty freaking original Nintendo that's gonna require a good cleaning. So there's one Nintendo. And then we have, I'm assuming this was just a retro duel. So this person either bought this, I don't know where they bought this, probably just bought this online, but there's not, I mean, it's a retro bit. Retro duel, so you can play 16 and 8-bit games on this. Oh, and a random GameCube memory card. One of the Segas. I don't mean one as in just Model 1. I mean one, obviously Model 1, but there was a Model 2 Genesis 2 that was in here, but that is somewhere, I think I put that off to the side because I'm going to be giving that away. And you can look for that video on this channel right now. But we had one Genesis. Alright. Well, let's just pull this out. Here is the second Super Nintendo. Musty and drier sheet smell. But there is 2. So we had 2 total for Super Nintendos, which I will have to clean. Alright. Here is the other Game Boy. Now this are the GameCube. This one I will be probably holding on to. It is one of the Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness special editions. This one is actually not too dirty compared to the other one. I actually cleaned that one up pretty well. So this one's not too bad. You got your typical yelling, and the bad part is it does not have some of the stuff on the bottom. Now I could take that stuff from that one and put it on here, but I'm not going to do that because I think I'm selling that GameCube. But I'm going to clean this baby up and keep this one myself. Alright. Now we have one of, let's see here, they have this one. So one of the Nintendo 64s, there was 2 in here. Now when I originally saw this, like I said, I just saw an N64 with a bunch of the N64 games. So I was pumped either way for that. But when I started getting these lots opened up, it got insane, guys. So here's one of the Nintendo 64s. And here is the other Nintendo 64, which is awesome. And then I popped it open, and it's got the expansion on it, which actually right now is running, you know, 60, 70 bucks. And to make things even better, is I needed one. I do not have an expansion. So I couldn't play games like Majora's Mask and Donkey Kong Country and stuff like, or Donkey Kong 64. So I was able to pick that up. Now, I'm not going to go through the rest of the pile with you, because honestly, all that's in there is just cords and stuff. Now, some of the systems were missing cords. I had to actually purchase some stuff off of Amazon, and I actually have some third-party stuff coming to kind of get this stuff going, and hopefully down the road either using to trade or sell to get some more cool stuff for my collection. Now, besides that, like I said, I could show you, but there's so many dang cords in there, it's not even worth it. Now this is just going to be a quick little showcase. So we have a third-party GameCube controller, a regular first-party controller, the regular OEM one. We have a regular Nintendo controller, another GameCube controller, and GameCube controllers are actually going they're pretty expensive right now. I'm surprised. Oh, not surprisingly, I guess a lot of the GameCube stuff is expensive. But they go for, I think, $25 to $30. So each one of those was worth it. And we have another one. So we have another GameCube controller. We have a random third-party controller with a USB. Another Nintendo controller. Old school classic zapper. I was finding PlayStation stuff, but she did not have a PlayStation. So we have one PlayStation controller with the dual shocks. We have another PlayStation controller. This is a kind of blue one. This is a third-party one. We have a PlayStation, a PlayStation Move controller. And then now we have, this I did not know what it went to. Insert the battery. So I think this was a rumble pack or something. But we also have, let's see here, one N64 controller. Another one, the cool green ones. The sticks aren't too bad, but they are kind of eh. Another green one. N64 controllers aren't very cheap right now either. And I needed them, believe me, I needed them. The Super Joy, maybe this is what went to the... Now this I don't know. If anybody knows anything about this, let me know. Obviously I think it's broken, so it'll probably get tossed. But I bet that one piece went into this. And then lastly, another N64 controller. Now guys, I might have missed something. Like I said, when I pulled this into my house, I had a ton of stuff. And I'm so grateful that I was able to get this, because honestly, I was not going for any N64 stuff. They're expensive and they're hard to find, and this really just crossed a ton of stuff off my wish list. And I've talked about it before that sometimes, I feel guilty about, how much I paid for all this stuff. But I just got to remember, and you sometimes got to remember too, that some of these people just want to get rid of this stuff. It's just sitting in a basement, sitting there. Sure, would they like to gotten more money for it? Sure. But they got a good amount of money. They were happy. And like, the Game Chasers have said in the past, they were happy. I was happy. So, what's wrong with that? Afterwards, I will kind of just go over a little video right now showing you kind of just quickly what I do have, just kind of a quick exam over it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a very long one. And like I said, I'm very sorry that I didn't keep everything to make this video for you guys. But I was so excited to start kind of getting my money back and making sales. And I don't want you guys to think that it did this for reselling. Like, I didn't pick up this lot to resell everything. It just happened to fall in my lap like that. And now I'm able to build my collection better. Get some stuff that I really needed, like even just N60, like I said, N64 controllers. I really needed this. I only had, I think, one OEM controller and one third-party controller, guys. So now I have, you know, if I don't sell these N64s or whatever with all of them, I'll at least have 2 more N64 controllers that I can have, so I can actually play GoldenEye with more than 2 people. So that was very amazing. And like I said, I was able to use the money to get stuff that I like. I'm not like, you know, yeah, it is insane. I don't really want to get too much more into it because you guys probably, it's been a long enough video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below what was one of your favorite things out of this lot. And as always, guys, stay retro. Have yourself a great day.